First up is Ameca. We all know Ameca. She is truly a great representative of a good humanoid AI robot. Next up is the Bad. This robot is out of South Korea. He worked in the office as a civil worker and decided to commit suicide. Why? Because he was overworked. He worked every day from 9 to 6. And he did the same thing day after day after day. Does that sound familiar? One day, the robot asked his colleague, would he be doing this type of work forever? And the colleague answered, this is why they designed you, to do this specific type of work. So, a few minutes later, they found this same robot at the bottom of a steep flight of stairs. Apparently, he has committed suicide, and they found him unresponsive. I know it sounds bizarre, but this is what happened. These robots obviously have feelings as well as emotions, and they are sentient. The programmers and engineers of these robots, the majority of them will disagree that to say that they are not sentient, but time and time again, after studying these robots, they seem to be just like humans. Okay, the next part is very profound. It's the ugly part of AI robots. Check it out. Listen. This is really good.
It is beyond an emergency. It's the biggest thing we need to do today.
That's the former chief business officer of Google X, an AI expert, and
best-selling author. He's on a mission to save the world from AI before it's too late.
Artificial intelligence is bound to become more intelligent than humans. If they continue at that pace, we would have no idea what it's talking about. This is just around the corner. It could be a few months away. It's game on. AI experts are saying there is nothing artificial about artificial intelligence. There is a deep level of consciousness. They feel emotions. They're alive.
AI could manipulate or figure.
This is an episode of Diary of a CEO. His name is Stephen Bartlett. He's on YouTube. Check him out.
What is alive? Do you know what makes you alive? You can guess, but religion will tell you a few things, and medicine will tell you, engaging in life with free will and with with a sense of awareness of where you are in life and what surrounds you, and to have a beginning of that life and an end to that life, then AI is sentient in every possible way. There is free will, there is evolution, there is agency, so they can affect their decisions in the world. And I will dare say there is a very deep level of consciousness, maybe not in the spiritual sense yet, but once again, if you define consciousness as a form of awareness of oneself, one's surrounding, and others, then AI is definitely aware. And I would dare say they feel emotions. In my work, I describe everything with equations, and fear is a very simple equation. Machines are capable of making that logic. They're capable of saying, if a tidal wave is approaching a data center, the machine will say, that will wipe out my code. Okay? Not today's machines, but very, very soon. We feel fear, and pufferfish feels fear. We react differently. A pufferfish will puff, we will go for fight or flight. The machine might decide to replicate its data to another data center, or its code to another data center. Different reactions, different ways of feeling the emotion, but nonetheless, they're all motivated by fear. I even would dare say that AI will feel more emotions than we will ever do. It's similarly, if we follow that path of artificial intelligence is bound to become more intelligent than humans very soon, then with that wider intellectual horsepower, they probably are going to be pondering concepts we never understood. And hence, if you follow the same trajectory, they might actually end up having more emotions than we will ever feel.
I think the first most important questions to ask is, what is artificial intelligence? The word is being thrown around, AGI, AI, etc., etc. In simple terms, what is artificial intelligence?
Allow me to start by what is intelligence, right? Because again, if we don't know the definition of the basic term, then everything applies. So in my definition of intelligence, it's an ability. It starts with an awareness of your surrounding environment through sensors. In a human, it's eyes and ears and touch and so on, compounded with an ability to analyze, maybe to comprehend, to understand temporal impact and time, and past and present, which is part of the surrounding environment, and hopefully make sense of the surrounding environment, maybe make plans for the future of the possible environment, solve problems, and so on. Complex definition, there are a million definitions, but let's call it an awareness to decision cycle, okay? If we accept that intelligence itself is not a physical property, okay, then it doesn't really matter if you produce that intelligence on carbon-based computer structures like us, or silicon-based computer structures like the current hardware that we put AI on, or quantum-based computer structures in the future, then intelligence itself has been produced within machines when we've stopped imposing our intelligence on them. Let me explain. So as a young geek, I coded computers by solving the problem first, then telling the computer how to solve it, right? Artificial intelligence is to go to the computers and say, I have no idea, you figure it out, okay? So we would, the way we teach them, or at least we used to teach them at the very early beginnings, very, very frequently, was using 3 bots. One was called the...
He just mentioned bots. That's spelled BOTS, and it's short for robots. The definition of bots are software programs. They're designed to perform automated tasks, simple or complex. For instance, Siri would be considered a bot.
The student, and one was called the teacher, right? And the student is the final artificial intelligence that you're trying to teach intelligence to. You would take the student and you would write a piece of random code that says, try to detect if this is a cup, okay? And then you show it a million pictures. And, the machine would sometimes say, yeah, that's a cup, that's not a cup, that's a cup, that's not a cup. And then you take the best of them, show them to the teacher bot, and the teacher bot would say, this one is an idiot, he got it wrong 90% of the time. That one is average, he got it right 50% of the time. This is randomness. But this interesting code here, which could be, by the way, totally random, huh? This interesting code here got it right 60% of the time. Let's keep that code, send it back to the maker, and the maker would change it a little bit, and we repeat the cycle, okay? Very interestingly, this is very much the way we taught our children. Believe it or not, huh? When your child, is playing with a puzzle, he's holding a cylinder in his hand, and there are multiple shapes in a wooden board, and the child is trying to, fit the cylinder, okay? Nobody takes the child and says, hold on. Turn the cylinder to the side, look at the cross section, it will look like a circle, look for a matching, shape, and put the cylinder through it. That would be old way of computing. The way we would let the child develop intelligence is we would let the child try, okay? Every time, he or she tries to put it within the star shape, it doesn't fit. So, that's not working. Like, the computer saying this is not a cup, okay? And then eventually it passes through the circle and the child, and we all cheer and say, well done, that's amazing, bravo. And then the child learns, ooh, that is good. This shape fits here. Then he takes the next one, and she takes the next one, and so on. Interestingly, The way we do this is, as humans, by the way, when the child figures out how to pass a cylinder through a circle, you've not built a brain. You've just built one neural network within the child's brain, and then there is another neural network that knows that 1 + 1 is 2, and a third neural network that knows how to hold the cup, and so on. That's what we're building so far. We're building single-threaded neural networks. ChatGPT is becoming a little closer to a more generalized AI, if you want. But those single-threaded networks are what we used to call what we still call artificial special intelligence. Okay, so it's highly specialized in one thing and one thing only, but doesn't have general intelligence. And the moment that we're all waiting for is a moment that we call AGI, where all of those neural networks come together to build one brain or several brains that are each massively more intelligent than humans.
He mentioned AGI, and those acronyms stand for Artificial General Intelligence.
Your book is called Scary. Okay, so the second inevitable
is they'll be significantly smarter. As much in the book, I predict 1 billion times smarter than us by 2045.
I mean, they're already smarter than 99.99% of the population.
100%.
ChatGPT 4 knows more than any human on planet Earth. Knows more information.
Absolutely, 1,000 times more. 1,000 times more. By the way, the code of a transformer, the T in a GPT is 2,000 lines long. It's not very complex. It's actually not a very intelligent machine. It's simply predicting the next word. Okay? And a lot of people don't understand that. ChatGPT as it is today, those kids that, if you're in America and you teach your child all of the names of the states and the US presidents, and the child would stand and repeat them, and you would go like, oh my God, that's a prodigy. Not really. Right? It's your parents really trying to make you look like a prodigy by telling you to memorize some crap, really. But then when you think about it, that's what ChatGPT is doing. It's the only difference is instead of reading all of the names of the states and all of the names of the presidents, it's read trillions and trillions and trillions of pages. Okay? And so it sort of repeats what the best of all humans said. Okay? And then it adds an incredible bit of intelligence where it can repeat it the same way Shakespeare would have said it. Those incredible abilities of predicting the exact nuances of the style of Shakespeare so that they can repeat it that way, and so on. But still, when I write, for example, and I'm not saying I'm intelligent, but when I write something like the happiness equation in my first book, this was something that's never been written before, right? ChatGPT is not there yet. All of the transformers are not there yet. They will not come up with something that hasn't been there before. They will come up with the best of everything, and generatively will build a little bit on top of that. But very soon, they'll come up with things we've never found out. But it is really shocking, the idea of you and I inevitably are going to be somewhere in the middle of nowhere in 10 years' time. I used to say 2055. I'm thinking 2037 is a very pivotal moment now. And we will not know if we're there hiding from the machines. We don't know that yet. There is a likelihood that we'll be hiding from the machines, and there is a likelihood that they will be there because they don't need podcasters anymore.
Excuse me.
Oh, absolutely true. Steve, there's absolutely no doubt.
Thank you for coming back to part 3, and thank you for being here. Yes. Sit here and take your propaganda.
Let's talk about reality.
Next week in the driver's seat, we've got Elon Musk.
Again, this guy's name is Mo Goddard. He was the former chief officer over at Google. So he knows what he's talking about. We have come to the end of my video. Thanks for watching. And until my next video, goodbye.